Hello and welcome to another These Cards video. My name is mvcuic. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Australia. And in this video I'll show you how to craft a Gatefold Plus card, and we'll also step it up on the inside to add pop-ups. This project is money saving and recyclable, so friendly to the environment, and we're using some free stuff as well. Okay, let's get started. First, here's some basic measure, cut and score tips for Australian A4 cardstock in inches. The two most important measurements on my ruler is the 6 1/8 and the 5 7/8. These are the two measurements I use when I'm cutting and scoring, whether it be in landscape or a portrait card base. The second most two important measurements are 6 5/16 and 4 1/16. These last two measurements will give me the insert of a card. I find it handy to also mark the 5 7/8 and 4 1/16 measurements at the bottom of my ruler for my paper trimmer. I've positioned my A4 cardstock landscape wise, and I'm measuring at 6 1/8 inch, and I'm going to cut along there, and then it's time to score. But before I score, I want to do some measurements, and I'll show you how I first started working out how to do a really good gatefold measurement. So I've got my smaller piece now in a landscape position, and I'm going to measure the cardstock, and then I'm going to work out the halfway point and just mark it with pencil. Now half of that halfway point will give me the spot where I need to score to make my first gatefold, and then I'll do the same when I turn the paper around to 180 degrees. I will measure and score, and then I will use a bone folder to burnish my score lines, and that should meet perfectly in the middle. Then I can rub out my marking. Now I'm measuring and cutting two rectangles so that I'm creating a border around each of the gates. So they're going to measure 3/16 of an inch smaller and shorter than the actual gates. And as you can see, the designer series paper is going to be even shorter and smaller than the second layer. It's going to be 3/16 of an inch thinner and shorter than the rich raspberry cardstock. Rather than stamping an image, I'm going to let the pattern paper do the work for me. So I'll be die cutting an oval shape to frame the designer series paper, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. I will be using specific shape dies to craft the image frame and then also the label. This die cuts out both the circular frame and the inside, and I'll be cutting the designer series paper with it, plus some recycled cardboard, and I'll be using some banner dies as well. I'm going to use a retired oval die to cut the shape that is slightly smaller than the frame, but then larger than the inside of that other oval. Or you could make up your own rough oval shape as long as it's bigger than the inner oval and smaller than the border or the frame. So I'm just going to trace around the inner oval using a pencil, and then I'm going to cut it out and have a generous gap between the line that I traced, but bearing in mind that I don't want it larger than the frame itself. I'm going to shade the inside of that oval designer series paper piece with some balmy blue and some garden green. And I'm going to do that using the sponge dobber. One of these pages of the free designer series paper allows for me to cut quite a few different ovals to create this card several times over and over. Now I'm going to adhere the image onto a backing cardboard and then frame it using that frame piece or the outer piece of the oval. So the piece that I'm adhering the designer series paper to needs to stick out a bit so that there is room for me to add the adhesive on and then attach it to the frame as well, so that it becomes one piece. And I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to put on the centre piece at the back as well as the frame. I've pre-cut some banners ahead of time and I'm going to layer them together. Not shown in the video, I had pre-stamped the sentiment for the card front, and I also die cut it into the small banner shape size and adhere it together with a bow. You've seen me do bows before, so I wanted to keep this video at the 2-minute mark. So here's how the card looked like. And I'm next going to show you how to step it up with some pop-up on the inside. Using my scoreboard and the tool that comes with it, I will mark 2 score lines down the long strip of spare window sheet, and then I'll cut them into smaller bits so that I have a few to work with. I will use my bone folder to burnish it first. I find that the tear and tape works really well with the window sheets and good for any kind of construction or mechanism. Glue dots are also fabulous to use when attaching small bits and pieces or thin strips of a shape onto the window sheet. We are past the halfway mark of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like if you like the video and take the time to subscribe if you're not yet a subscriber. Also, please share with your friends as well. I'd love to inspire others. Thank you so much for your support. Previously I crafted the exact same pop-up, but it was that C was a bit larger and I thought it was okay, and now making it for the second time, slightly adjusted. I'm just not happy with the way that everything sits, so I will have another go, and this time I'm going to create an L shape with the window sheet and attach it to the card as well as the butterfly and see if I like that. When closing the card, you'll notice that it is a lot more bulkier than just the gatefold. This is because of the fold in the window sheet. The pattern paper is a lot thinner than cardstock, so I could easily double them up and send them through my cut and emboss machine. And that's what I've done there to quickly cut 2 different sized butterflies ×2. I will edit the description below to show a link which will take you to a list of all the products I've used to craft this card. There's also an option for you to copy what's on the product list onto your shopping cart and chop and change the list to suit your needs. So this would be for Australian residents only who don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Thanks so much for your business. Also, if you are local and in the city of Melbourne, come along to one of our classes. We run them twice monthly on a Wednesday, and we've got one coming up this Wednesday. For further information, you can contact me using my email address, and that'll be in the description below. Here's what the card will look like from a bird's eye view. Next, I will select a sentiment and stamp that in the middle of the inside. And add some accents as well. We are now coming close to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please take a moment to like and share with your friends. Until next time, take care and happy crafting.